I am with EBSCO's product management team, and I oversee a team who work with our research databases and mainly sold into the academic market. And today we're going to talk about people, processes, and products, and how we support diversity in academic research. So our broad statement of support for DEI is that EBSCO Information Services is committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion as guiding principles that build our teams, cultivate our leaders, and move our business forward. We strive to uphold and improve these principles, not only within our organization, but in the content we provide and how we support our customers. And to focus further on this broad statement that I just read, here are 3 pillars of diversity, equity, and inclusion at EBSCO. First, our people. We're committed to diversity as guiding principles to build our teams, cultivate leaders, and move our business. Our processes. We strive to ensure that the content we create and publish is diverse in its authorship and points of view, and inclusive in its language and metadata. And finally, our products. Our goal is to ensure that the products we offer support our diverse user base. So what exactly do we mean when we say diversity? Well, we mean a lot of different things. And this illustration is not meant to be an exhaustive list of categories, but it's a good overview and a reminder of how many ways individuals and groups can be unique and differ from each other. And how we represent these differences matters. Beginning with our people. At EBSCO, as I mentioned before, we're committed to diversity and inclusion as guiding principles. And we believe that by attracting diverse talent and securing an inclusive workplace culture, we'll continue to grow as both individuals and as a business. Some of the ways that we're making this happen is our HR department is participating in career fairs, virtual and in person that attract diverse applicants, such as recruit military events and career fairs like Blacks in Technology and Techeria. We also partner with diverse organizations, including the National Black MBA Association and the Hispanic Latino Professionals Association. We've implemented manager training that focuses on leading across differences, psychological safety, and coaching. And this training is providing managers with tools on how to have inclusive conversations, build trust, coach teammates, and give back. We have some very robust employee-led groups that contribute to the culture of inclusion and diversity at EBSCO, beginning with the Diversity Working Group. That group works to ensure that we have a diverse, equitable, and inclusive working environment for all employees. The Women at EIS group provides women at EBSCO with networking, educational, and mentoring opportunities. Our EBSCO Pride group is creating a space for LGBTQ+ EBSCO employees to organize, network, and address mutual needs. Shalom EBSCO serves as a network to build community and share information to the larger company on Jewish-related issues. The Working Parents Group connects parents and caregivers across EBSCO. Our Green Team focuses on reducing the environmental impact of EBSCO as a company and also increasing awareness of green initiatives and practices amongst individual employees. And well-being at EBSCO provides a space to share information that relates to our overall well-being. So that's a bit about what we're doing on the people front. Now, moving on to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the content we create. And specifically, I'm talking here about our proprietary content and our indexing terms and our metadata. At a high level, our approach to creating content involves sourcing authoritative external resources. We'd like to get guidance on best practices in the application of inclusive language. We work with experts and advisors outside of EBSCO for guidance on the most sensitive content to avoid bias and ensure balance. We are actively expanding our pool of proprietary content contributors to ensure the diversity of authors, reviewers, and editors. And we anticipate and welcome input, feedback, participation, and collaboration. This is a multifaceted and evolving focus area. As I mentioned, we consult third-party sources to help ensure that our language and content meet modern standards. On the right, you can see a sample of some of the sources we've relied on recently, such as the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the Native American Journalists Association Reporting and Indigenous Terminology Guide, to name just a few. And here are some fundamental principles that guide us in creating content. We incorporate diverse perspectives. As I mentioned earlier, we've expanded our writing and vendor pool. We can conduct external reviews. We have a process of sensitivity editing on key content. We must recognize that context matters. We consult multiple sources to understand the topic and ensure accuracy. Go for specificity whenever possible. We are conscious of being intersectional in approach and consider all elements of diversity and recognize intersectional subjects and avoid bias. We also leave room for exceptions. Documented guidelines provide a starting place for writers and editors. But for example, if a biography subject specifically refers to themselves as Latinx, the editor may honor that, even though it's not our current preferred term. And of course, it's always necessary to regularly review and update our content. In this example of a proprietary biography, when Elliot Page shares his transgender identity and chosen name, the existing article was updated accordingly. Moving on to subject headings, which are of course critical in the discovery of diverse content. We have instituted a sensitive term review list to ensure that our terms, even if they're appropriate on their face, are not being misapplied to content in an inappropriate way. We do this every quarter. And the terms you see on the right are just a handful of the over 1,000 terms that we keep a close watch on. We expect this list of terms will continue to grow as we continue this endeavor. And finally, in the area of content, I wanted to illustrate some changes we're making with metadata. First, to be more inclusive, and second, to make sure that we are appropriately characterizing people and groups. In the first example, invisible disabilities is a new subject term that's been added in the last year. And you see that we've introduced 15 new topics, 700 people have been added, specific people, 40 businesses and organizations have been added to our headings, and 520 media titles. And as far as characterization of people, the second example here is that labor supply is now the new preferred term for manpower. The process for these changes involved consulting external resources to identify terms we were missing and concepts and terms that we have, but were not the best characterization. And the work here will continue. A large number of changes have been made, but many, many more are forthcoming. Okay, moving on to EBSCO's products. As you all know, EBSCO is a large company with multiple product lines, and many of those product lines are listed here. In the last year, product managers from across the company have been meeting to align at a high level on our approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion in our products. I'll be focusing mainly on the EBSCO host research database area because that's the area that I work in. So as far as our products are concerned, EBSCO is committed to delivering subject-specific products that help our customers promote inclusivity. We want to ensure that all products, including our large aggregated collections, represent content from a variety of authors and perspectives. That's very challenging, which I'll get into in a moment. We are continuously reviewing and improving the accessibility of our platform and the discoverability of our content. And there are three fundamental reasons that diversity, equity, and inclusion are vital to research institutions and the populations they serve. And I'm sure this group is all well aware of this, but it doesn't hurt to emphasize it. Users want to be able to access research material on vulnerable or underserved groups that are authored or created by members of those groups. Libraries need to make sure that their end users feel represented by including authors and research materials that reflect the diversity of their population. And it's imperative that research institutions provide access to diverse content to broaden their users' perspectives and provide various points of view. So to meet our customer needs, we as a company have committed to offer products that provide institutional resources that promote inclusivity and diversity. Our products support emerging programs and areas of study. And we offer products that enhance the research experience for users by demonstrating representation within collections. So if we want to ensure that our product offerings are truly diverse, we need to set proper benchmarks. And to do that, we have to be able to measure. So what do we want to measure in EBSCO products? And in a lot of cases, in most cases right now, this is very much aspirational. But we'd like to be able to measure the diversity of our products, the products themselves, the different types of products that we, database products that we sell. Then we want to look at publication level diversity, the diversity of the publications within those products, and then the topics within the products, and of course the authors and contributors to the content in these products. As mentioned previously, there are many facets of diversity, and as a group of product teams, we had to decide where we would focus. And based on our interactions with our respective customers, we decided to start with the types of diversity that you see here on the right, 8 categories: race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, geography, language, health literacy, and health and ability. And again, we want to measure those across our products, our publications, our topics, and authors and contributors. And we always advocating for platform features that allow for equitable discovery and search results. And I should emphasize that this is a starting point. It is certainly not set in stone. This is, our emphasis will probably evolve as we learn from our customers what their needs are. EBSCO's actually had a long history of offering subject-specific databases that represent diversity. The bibliographic products listed here are examples of EBSCO's longstanding commitment to offering diverse products. These subject-specific resources allow students and scholars to search a curated collection of relevant information that draws from research articles, biographies, and primary sources. Our full text products, which include licensed full text journal content, also include subject-specific databases that relate to diversity. Probably the most prominent of these right now is LGBTQ+ source. Interestingly, this product family, it's the original product, which was without full text, was released in 2005. So EBSCO is coming up on 20 years of offering an LGBTQ+ product. And we are investing a lot in this product right now, in adding new content, new types of content. The product manager for this particular product is doing user research to understand what types of content is most valuable here. Our most recent product release in this realm is Ethnic Diversity Source. This product was created to address some specific legislation in California that requires the teaching of ethnic diversity in public colleges and universities. But it's selling well past California, all across the country, and Canada as well. And this year was very, very well reviewed in the Library Journal, who called it a robust source for diversity and ethnic studies that stands out for its rich array of books, journals, newspapers, primary sources, and other materials. We're very proud of this new offering. And I should mention, it is continuing to evolve based on our customer feedback. Our archive product line is also particularly suited to the study of people or groups of people in the past. Archives provide primary source material and firsthand accounts, and they are an historical record of key events. Our African American Historical Serials Collection documents the history of African American religious life and culture between 1829 and 1922. And our Arte Publico series documents Hispanic experience from colonial times to the mid-20th century. Series 1 focuses on the creative life of US Latinos and Hispanics, while Series 2 focuses on Hispanic American civil rights, religion, and women's rights. In 2019, we released Ebony Magazine Archive, which covers African American issues around civil rights, education, entrepreneurship, and other social topics. And we very recently released Jet Magazine Archive, which covers news, politics, and other social topics with an African American focus. And it's a weekly, so there's lots and lots of content there. Now, turning now to our aggregated databases that don't necessarily focus on a DEI-related topic. We've had some initial success measuring the diversity of proprietary content on our products, such as Literary Reference Center Plus. We used US Census data and world population data as a benchmarking guide, just as a place to start. We know that that's not necessarily perfect. But we want to start with the tools that we have right now. We looked at more than 12,000 author biographies for race, ethnicity, nationality, gender, LGBTQ+, self-identification. And we found that out of 5,000 authors who identified as American, only 120 of them were for authors who also identified as Hispanic or Latino. 2.4%. So that's not a good showing. And according to the US Census, 18% of the overall population of the US identifies as Hispanic or Latino. So that was a clear call to action. And we are increasing the author biography content to reflect the overall US population, aiming to achieve 18% of American authors who identify as Latino or Hispanic. We also looked at 350 literary context essays, and they were examined for characterization of ethnicity, nationality, and LGBTQ+ representation. And our finding was that 20% of these essays had diverse character representation. And the action we're going to take with this particular product is to add 200 new essays, which will increase that diverse character representation to 35%. As you can imagine, this is an exercise that is much more achievable when we're measuring content that we create and put on our own products. But turning now to measuring content in licensed products. As most of you think of EBSCO as an aggregator, and that really is our core business, aggregating published content. Our flagship products consist entirely of aggregated licensed content. And so, of course, this poses some challenges for measuring the diversity. Products such as Academic Search and Business Source deliver many thousands of publications to customers at a fraction of the cost of individual subscriptions, but EBSCO has no direct control over this content, and it's aggregated from over 20,000 publishers. We also have hundreds of products that are sold into different markets and to regions around the world. So a one-size-fits-all approach is probably not appropriate. But we do want to overcome these challenges and be able to measure and proactively increase the diversity of the content in our products. And we want to be able to share this information with our library partners because they're asking, and reasonably so. So moving forward, we are going to work with our semantic enrichment team at EBSCO to explore some possible machine learning, artificial intelligence solution for identifying diverse authors and subjects. We'll be experimenting with that in the coming months. Once we can begin to measure this diversity content in licensed aggregated content, then product managers will be able to use this information to set product benchmarks at the product level. We will also be proactively targeting and licensing content. Our team is targeting publishers who specialize in publishing the work of underrepresented populations or topics. We will also continue to work with publishers who have expressed commitment to the diversity of their authors, reviewers, and editors. And we will also look to increase our collections of primary sources. We've been hearing a lot from our end users and our librarian partners that this content is extremely valuable for representing diverse first-person perspectives. And we welcome your feedback. We know that this is going to be an ongoing iterative effort, and we know we won't always get it right. And I invite you to please let us know where you think we fall short and could do better. I'd love for you to share your ideas about how EBSCO can partner to better serve you in meeting the diverse requirements of your institutions and users. And at this point, I can open it to questions and comments. And I also would invite anybody who would like to take down my email, cpeckham@ebsco.com, to do so and reach out to me at any time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I know we all appreciate hearing how EBSCO is supporting diversity in academic research and hearing some of that behind the scenes work that's going on. So thank you for being here and for the support of the conference.